Hi, my name's Nadine, and I want to tell you about how my mom is trying to be like me. But before we start the story, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. Lately, I started to notice that my mom has changed a lot. She started acting like a teenager, and she even dresses like it. At first, I didn't think much of it. My mom's always been a little weird. As a child, she told me that I was, in fact, brought to her by aliens. In fact, she made a flying saucer, hung it over our house, and I immediately thought that the aliens were going to take me back. I was so scared, I cried. The next day, that plate was gone. But now, my mom has gone completely bonkers. I just don't think a person who's almost 40 years old should act like a teenager. She even got herself a tattoo, you know? But then she tells me not to do it, saying I might regret it in the future. But it was nothing, because one day I saw my mother trying on my clothes. Naturally, it made me angry, so I snapped at her. "Mom, those are my clothes. Why did you take them? Don't you feel sorry for your mother's clothes? But you have nothing for me to feel sorry about. You have your own. Anyway, you look silly dressed like that. I think you're jealous of me." Mom laughed, and she poked me on the nose, and I felt like waking a volcano, like lava. I gathered anger in me and was about to blow out. I finally got my mom to give me back my clothes, but then I was even more freaked out when she totally upgraded her closet, buying clothes just like mine. She didn't even think to buy them in a different color. In fact, that night she came home with red hair, just like mine. "Do you like it?" she asked, and she winked at me. "You look just like me," I mumbled in shock. "I know! It's cool, isn't it?" "It's not cool! You stole my personality!" "No, I just want to keep up with the time and feel young and carefree." I didn't say anything back. I just hoped my mom would come to her senses. But I hoped for nothing. We had some money in the piggy bank for a rainy day, but my mom decided to spend it on an electric guitar and her 13th iPhone so she could do cool photo shoots. She even started her own Instagram, where she started posting new pictures of herself. I have to be honest, I was very embarrassed for her in front of my friends, since my mom, among other things, was shooting cringe reels, liking and commenting on every picture of me. I had to go to extreme measures and block her, and my classmates pestered me with questions about the twin. "I didn't know you had a twin sister," a classmate told me. "I don't have a twin." I nervously clenched my fists. "Really? And who is she? She looks a lot like you." "I don't know who it is, and leave me alone with these questions." I fluttered my arms, thinking that my day had already been ruined, and unhappily sat at the table. But then, my mother came into the classroom, and my classmates immediately recognized her. "Hi, are you Nadine's sister?" "No, I'm her mom." She laughed. "Nadine, you forgot your lunch." The guys looked at me in shock first, and then they looked at my mom. "By the way, you're all invited to my rock concert tonight." What? What did she say? A rock concert? She can barely strum a string, and you can see and hear it clearly on her stories and reels. No one's coming to see her because I'm playing tonight. However, only 10 people came to my concert, and 2 stumbled in by accident and left almost immediately. But my mom had a lot of viewers, judging by her stories. But how can they listen to this? She can't even hit the notes she sings, and she dressed the same way I did for my concert. How could she do this to me? I went to that club immediately, but they wouldn't even let me in because it was full. How could she get so many people there? My shock was the size of several universes. I waited for my mom to come home to talk to her, but it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and she never came back and wouldn't even answer her phone. What on earth does this no young lady think she's doing? Why does she make me worry? Just let my mother come back, and she'll get it from me and get a lecture on how to behave and what time to come home so my daughter doesn't worry. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard strange noises in our yard. When I looked out, my eyes almost popped out of my head. Mom was on her bike with some guy. What was all that about? I asked. As soon as she walked in the house, I was just having fun. Mom winked at me. Even that gesture she copied from me. Why are you back so late? Oh, don't be silly, daughter. I'm tired, she said, and she went up to her bedroom. She's acting like an obnoxious teenager, just like me. Do I look that stupid from the outside? In the morning, my mother and I met in the kitchen, dressed in identical outfits. Shouldn't you change your clothes? I said grudgingly. What's wrong with you? You changed. I actually have a date tonight. With whom? The biker who gave me a ride. And then I fell out. How can my mom, who's almost 40, be dating a biker? Actually, I'm the one dating bikers and rockers. And my mother stupidly repeats after me. Is she trying to outshine me? To be prettier and more popular? Well, why would she do that? And while I was thinking, my mom took off on a date, and she asked me to cook dinner. I was so outraged. I put so much salt in her favorite vegetable stew that it would be impossible to eat. That's funny, but I was more concerned about my mom's popularity. She's totally copying me, and it's really pissing me off. I've decided she needs to get back down to earth. She needs to remember that she's a grown woman, not a young girl without a brain or conscience. So I decided to ruin my mother's reputation by posting the most embarrassing pictures from her photo shoot. And I made some stupid captions underneath them, like, I'm a potato here, and I'm a dummy here. Luckily, she put a simple password on her Instagram. Stupid captions like that are sure to make her followers cringe. When my mom saw these pictures on her profile, she thought someone had hacked her. She quickly deleted them, and then she spent the rest of the day clearing out the offending messages on her direct. But that's not all. Since I had her new password, I had no problem logging into her profile at any time. I decided to text that biker at night on her behalf, and then immediately delete all of our correspondence. I texted him that I love 90s pop. I can't imagine life without teddy bears. I also love the color pink and rhinestones. And what do you think? He stopped returning her calls and messages. Mom didn't understand why her cool boyfriend was dynamiting her. But I had the pleasure of watching as her popularity slowly crumbled. Then in my TikTok, I announced that I would be entering a contest. I'm good at dancing, but my mom wasn't. But she wanted to keep up with me, so she signed up to be a contestant too. You should have seen her. She could barely move her legs, and she couldn't keep up with the rhythm. People were laughing at her, and I was thinking how she'd never be like me. But I was in for a shock when the judges gave my mom first place. It's never too late to start. You made the audience laugh today, and you proved once again that age doesn't matter, said the judge, and handed Mom a small trophy. She was so happy that she couldn't hold back her tears and said that her daughter inspired her to be so active and young. These words even touched me somehow, but my emotions quickly turned to anger when I was not invited to the traditional party at my classmate's house, but my mother was, because she was able to impress everyone. But why her and not me? Nadine, your mom's cool, and you're not. She's just copying me. How can you not see that? You're nothing like her. She's very cool, and you're a sucker. Deal with it. Okay, that was the last straw of my patience. I'm gonna ruin this party in a way that's gonna make my mom's popularity vanish once and for all. Do you mind if I wear your dress to this party? Mom asked, walking into my room. Of course not, I answered in a mawkish voice. What are you wearing? I wasn't invited. My mother was very surprised and even outraged. She began to ask what happened, and then I couldn't take it anymore and told her everything. You stole my popularity and identity. You do everything to be like me, and now my classmates don't accept me at all. I saw that my mom was embarrassed, and she decided to tell me why she was acting this way. Turns out she didn't have youth at all, because when she was 14 years old, my grandmother became seriously ill, and she needed a lot of care. My mother took care of her for 4 years, and then my grandmother died. Soon, my mother became pregnant, and her boyfriend, when he found out about it, left in a hurry. And my mom had to grow up early and work hard to raise me well and provide for me. to make my childhood last as long as possible and to make me believe in miracles. That's why she made up aliens for me. And so when you grew up, Nadine, I realized that I don't have a youth, and I wanted to be carefree like you for once. I hugged my mother. I couldn't hold back my tears. If she'd told me everything before, I wouldn't have done her wrong. And now, I was so ashamed of my behavior. How did you plan to ruin the party? Mom asked me out of the blue. It was trivial to throw rotten eggs in the yard. Mom smiled slyly and offered to do it together. I was shocked by her words, but I agreed. We drove up to my classmate's house and started throwing rotten eggs out of the car windows. I had never heard so much screaming in my life. But my mom and I had a good laugh. Back home, I told my mom I didn't mind her copying me, but she said she didn't want to be like me anymore. She wanted to find a new self. She didn't stop making cringe reels and doing weird photo shoots. But it didn't bother me anymore. In fact, I was helping my mom, like teaching her how to play the guitar and also ride a hero scooter. I found myself thinking that I'd never seen my mom so happy in my life. And that made me happy too. And if your mom started copying you in everything, what would you do? Write your answers in the comments, and I'll read them happily.